Hey guys, Sure Shot Midget here. So unfortunately I got to redo this video. Something with the friggin' computer or my phone will not allow me to download the video that I made about 3 weeks ago on this gun. And it's just screwing up, so whatever. Here to redo it. So I purchased a PTR 9CT MP5. So this is made by PTR in South Carolina. They have a couple different versions. They have the MP5K type. And then the longer version. This is the longer version. It's like, what would it be considered? The MP5A3 or A2? There's a lot of different versions of the MP5s, and it's based off of what stock it has, etc., or trigger pack, or handguard, whatever. So they call it this 9CT. It's 9mm, of course. This is the box that it comes in. I do not keep it in here. Once you put some attachments on it, it no longer fits in this box, which kind of sucks. So we got a receipt here. That's my receipt. We got a PTR manual, which I did read through. It's pretty nice. I got the warranty, or not warranty, but inspection when they packed it up. There's the end plate, the original end plate. It does come with a sling attachment and a sling. The sling is actually pretty cool. It is a 1-point, and it's kind of a bungee. It seems to be pretty good quality. If you get the K version, you may want to keep this on there and use the sling. Back in the day, counterterrorism units in Europe used to use the MP5Ks with the sling on the back and these type of slings because they wore gas masks and you can't really have a stock on there, so they just used a stockless gun and pulled this sling taut to reduce recoil. And then I have the lock in here. Now, I do want to mention the gun came broken. I kid you not. This is the ejector. The end of the ejector was snapped off. Like, literally, as soon as I took this out to the range, it didn't get a single round through it. This was broken out of the box. I did purchase this from kind of a local shop, a guy that I've known for a while. I used to play airsoft with him. He opened up a gun shop, and I wanted to support his business, so I drove 2.5 hours up north and purchased it from his shop because he was able to special order it there. They're kind of hard to find, but he was able to get it. I don't blame him for having the problem with the gun. It was obviously on PTR. I said, screw it. I purchased from hkparts.net. I purchased an HK ejector, 45 shipped, contacted PTR, and PTR has taken forever to respond. They're like, oh yeah, we'll send you a new one after 2 weeks of radio silence. Here's the bag that I got. This is the same bag that my grandpa got for his AR-9, pistol, made by Foxtrot Mike. It's made by Vism. The bag is, I think it was like 55 shipped. So not the cheapest bag, but it is fantastic for pistol caliber carbine type guns. You could probably fit a 12-inch, probably even a 5.56 in here if you really wanted to. So it's good for those PDWs, folding braces, folding stocks, SBRs, whatever. The PTR sight adjustment tool. Now, quick note on this. This was a huge pain to use, and it goes into the back sight to turn it up and down. Left and right was easy to adjust. It's just the Phillips head. But it was rough to use this. So I saw a video on YouTube. The H and K was easy to adjust. With this, I had to be rough, very rough with it. So basically, you have to pop it in there, and then I had to take another screwdriver and smack it multiple times. And you have to be really careful because you have to keep it pushed straight in line, because if it pops up, those tabs will release. If you own one of these, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It may make no sense to you, but it is very tedious to adjust that back sight. On the other side here, I've got my magazines. So first off, I've got 2 metal mags. I actually have multiple. So I'll start with the 20 rounders. The 20 rounders I bought online. They are KCI Gen 2. They are marked. They're like steel, but they're also anodized matte colored. I've got one of them loaded up, ready to go for home defense. And I've got one just empty for range mag. Now these were $35 on online. It was 80 shipped, so $10 for shipping, $35 for 2. I bought 2. And I found these for a steal at a local like a fishing gun shop in the middle of nowhere, about an hour away. They are also KCI Gen 2. They're 30 rounders, also steel. These online retail for about 45 bucks, and I found these for $20 at this no name, well, it's not a no name, but mom and pop gun shop. They sell like tackle and fishing stuff. I bought 2 of them, and no regrets. I use this mainly at the range, really. The steel mags are much better than the plastic ones. So I've got, 2 of these metal ones for range time, and then I've got 2 loaded up with hollow points for home defense. This is my main home defense weapon. 30 rounder sits under my bed. The 20 rounder sits in the guns. Now, for the magazines that it comes with, it came with 2 of these 30 round ETS magazines. These are decent. I just use these for range mags. I don't really trust them all that much. I did have one of them crack already. I threw it away, but these 2 came with it. And then I also have a 20 rounder in here that I will use for the range. And then we have the gun right here. And then on the other side, we have a sling for the gun itself. This is a copy of the Magpul MS3. It goes right here in the back of the receiver on the pistol brace. It's metal back there, so it's nice and it fits good. Single point sling, of course. All right, now onto the gun itself. Here is what it looks like. I'm gonna make sure it's unloaded. This is that empty 20 rounder. So this gun, I've always wanted an MP5 ever since I started buying guns. I've built a couple of airsoft ones, always wanted a real one. These retail for about $1,700. So I have about $2,200 in it total with all the stuff I bought for it. So let's start on the back and go to the front. I have a folding pistol brace. This is made by SB Tactical. I forget what they call it, APT5 or something, or SB AT5, I don't know. It's specifically for the MP5. They also make this for the Strybog. They make it for the Scorpion Evo. They make this type of brace for multiple guns, but the back plate is what changes. So this is for the MP5. It's a big chunk of aluminum, slides on there and 1 pin goes in. Again, that's where the sling mount is. QD slot. The pistol brace locks into place really well. It's really tight. I actually had to do a little bit of modification on it. I just slid some heat shrink in here because this button has a little bit of play to it. So when I would lock it into place, I could shake it back and forth a little bit. And I don't know if that's my OCD or something. I've never been diagnosed with OCD, but it really triggered me. So I just put a little tiny shim in there, literally just heat shrink. I just kind of folded up, slid in there, and it is tight as it can be now. So fixed it real easy. Just used my head on that one. Now continuing forward, this is a plastic receiver, lower receiver. The upper receiver is what is serialized on the top. So what that means is you can change lower receivers. Magpul makes one, a couple different versions. This one is just safe and then fire. I do have the standard selector switch in there. It's not ambi. You can get an ambi one. I don't really need an ambi one. The trigger is stock. It's not awful, but it's kind of hard to describe. It's not easy to shoot quick, but it's pretty smooth is the way I would describe it. I would say it's about 5, maybe 6 pounds, but it's really nice and smooth. The receiver is made of, I believe it's just stamped steel. That's the serialized part. Again, we have the South Carolina markings over here, PTR 9. And then on the other side, it says Cal 9x19. Magazine release is ambi on the bottom, but they also have this one over here, which makes very little sense to me, considering if you're shooting, if you're a righty, like normal people, you cannot reach that button whatsoever. So unless you're like grabbing the gun like this and you hit it, it's just much easier to just grab the mag catch like that and strip the mag. Now, if you're a lefty, theoretically, you could come up here, grab it, and pull it out like that. But it kind of just makes sense to use the paddle, even if you're a lefty. So I'm just not sure why they did that. This was designed in like 1965, something like that. So it's an old design. Had no clue why they decided to do that. I'm not gonna put a red dot on here. I do have a flashlight so I can identify targets. I use the open aperture all the way, open, basically so I can have good peripheral vision and not, you know, bring the peephole down. It's for close range. Somebody busts in the house, you got a flashlight so you can see what you're shooting at, but it's nice and open field of view so I can get rounds off quick and actually have, you know, some good visual. So up front, it does have an M-LOK rail on it. It comes with it out of the box. It is marked PTR and then M-LOK. So for the M-LOK slots, I put rail covers. These are known, they're not no name. I bought them off of eBay. The brand starts with M. I think it's Mentorum or something. I threw away the package. You could look them up. I bought them off of eBay. They're not slate black. I have those for my 2 ARs, the slate black brand. I bought these on eBay, saw them. They're just a different pattern, so I thought they looked good to me. So I bought them, and no regrets. I have a full 3-length one on the left side, and then one on the bottom. And then on the right side, I have a Magpul M-LOK rail slot for rail slot, like literally the rail. It is metal, and that is to attach my flashlight. I did put my flashlight as far up as I could, just to kind of keep it forward so I can have some area to put my pressure pad. I am using the Streamlight Protac. This is the 1. They make a 1 and 2. The 1 is 325 lumens. The 2, Protac 2, is 625. So the Protac 2 is actually what I bought my grandpa for Christmas for his AR pistol. I decided to go with the 1. Part of me regrets it, part of me doesn't. I have a TLR 1000 lumen on my Glock pistol for home defense as well. But I figure if you're waking up in the middle of the night and you shine a flashlight, it like literally can blind you. And I've literally tested this with my TLR 1 with my Glock 19. If you're shining it and you're like just woke up from your sleep, it literally will blind you and probably the person that, you know, you're trying to shoot. So I decided I'm going to get a flashlight that is a lot less bright so that I don't blind myself, but just enough that I can actually see what I'm shooting at from 25 yards, whatnot. Now, I did test this at night one time. I went to the range. I didn't get any footage because it was too dark. It was like 6 o'clock. Winter gets dark really early. And I was shooting at 50 yards, and I could identify the steel target and make hits. The pressure pad I have zip tied in a couple spots. It's all tucked away really nicely, so when I grab the handguard, my fingers slide underneath the back of the flashlight on the pressure pad, and I can turn it off and on. I turned off the strobe, so it's kind of just you click it, you let go, it turns off. And then there's this bigger button here, which you can tap, and it'll do the same thing, but it's basically the button to stay on, so you can barely hit it and kind of flash it, but you push it on and it'll stay on. And then on the front, we have the front sight, and it also is threaded 1/2x28, and it also has the 3-lug. So you have options if you have a 3-lug suppressor, or you can direct thread. Now I decided just to put a Cac Compensator on here, so the compensator just has holes on the top, not the bottom, it's closed. So essentially what this is supposed to do is shoot the gases up and push your gun down. But with a 9mm, there's really not enough blast out of the front of the gun, so it doesn't shoot down like a 5.56 would. And I do have 2 of these on 5.56s. So I know with the 5.56, it actually pushes your gun down. With this, it stays pretty level. If anything, it kicks up a little bit, which is natural because when the bolt cycles, your gun's gonna go like that, you know, kind of rocking your arms. People always say MP5 recoil is really low. I don't know, it's pretty similar to my AKV. I have a blowback AKV made by Palmetto State. 9mm, it feels just like shooting this. This is a little less snappy. The AKV is snappier because it's quicker cycle. Since this is a roller delayed, it's literally delayed recoil. So it's a little bit different to shoot, like the feeling, but the actual felt recoil is pretty similar. So that's pretty much it for the actual features and everything. I don't know if I'll be able to show you. I don't think I can. Let me see if I can fold the brace and show you through there. Pretty nice. Hold it like that. Turn it off and on. It's got kind of a longer pull, like there's some take up, and then you feel a resistance. And there's a little, it's not gritty, but there's a little play till it actually drops the hammer. And then when it cycles, the reset is a little springy. It kind of shoots your finger out, you know what I mean? Almost like an AK. That's why I can't shoot it super, super fast. But it's very, very, very smooth. It's just not super fast. Now, I am considering putting a binary trigger in here. They're like $450 for a binary trigger, so I'm not sure that I'm going to spend that much on it. It's actually really easy to disassemble. You just need to pop this one pin out. Is the only thing you actually need to use a tool for, because it's too tight. And then the brace pops off, that metal back there. And then you'll kind of smack the lower down. And this is the trigger set. Oh, nice and greasy on there. I do lube this up quite a bit. MP5s like to run wet. Again, safe and fire. This was the ejector that was broken completely, and that's the H&K part. Now, to get to the bolt, you just flip it over and kind of pull out the spring, and it is roller delayed. There's the roller sticking out on that side. The other side, it's in. It is wet. I used some nice grease on there and actual lube. So a thicker, oil, and then just some thinner lube as well. These do get really dirty. They do get really, really dirty when you fire them. Every time I fired this, I fired about 300 rounds through it. One time 400. It's a blast to shoot. It's easy to shoot through a ton of ammo because it's just a 9mm. And it's very accurate. Again, I've shot it out to 75 yards, and it's really easy to shoot. And I mentioned this earlier, it is a 9-inch barrel. So pretty good velocity out of it. It's still pretty short and compact though. And like I said earlier, this can easily hold its own out to 100 yards for sure. Some people think that's a little crazy for 9mm, but 9mm will be lethal at 100 yards. You can hit targets at 200 yards even. The ammo that I use in my home defense magazines, hollow points, they are bonded hollow points, which is just a different way of making a hollow point. Instead of jacketed, it's bonded. I've heard bonded is better, but I don't really know, so don't, quiz me on that. They're made in Switzerland. When I purchased these, it literally says Switzerland. It said that they are Swiss law enforcement. So I don't know if the Swiss law enforcement are actually using this ammo or what, but that's what it said in the description. I didn't say yet they're 124 grain, which is a good weight. That's a NATO weight. It's good for a 9-inch barrel, even 10-inch, 124 is pretty dang good. So in the description of this ammo, I think online, it doesn't say in the box. On the website, I'm pretty sure it said 5-inch barrel. It was 1180. So this being a 9-inch, I'm estimating, but I've seen lots of chrono tests on YouTube and stuff. Probably seen about 1,300 feet per second, if not a little less. 1,250, 1,300 feet per second with a 124 grain round like this out of a 9-inch. Now, the ammo that I use at the range is actually very, very similar. It's Norma. It is 1181 out of a 6-inch. It literally says tested out of a 6-inch. So this is a little less hot than this, but this stuff is pretty dang close to NATO spec. I do have a couple boxes of NATO spec that I've shot. I think they're advertised at 1,200 out of a 5-inch. This is 1181 out of a 6, so pretty similar. This is really good stuff. It powers this gun perfectly. It's just fantastic for it. I get this for a pretty good price. I think it's 16 bucks a box for 50, which is not bad. It also is 124 grain, just like the home defense ammo. So that is pretty much it. I don't think I'm missing anything. This is a very expensive gun. Well worth it. I love it. My friends know I've always said I have to own an MP5. There's just a couple guns I'm like, I am going to own an MP5. I'm going to own a SIG 556. I already got one of those. Spent like $1,500 on that. So some of these iconic Cold War era guns like 70s, 80s, even 90s, AUG. I'm going to own an AUG eventually. So just one of those guns I was like, I have to have it. And since I work hard, I invested my hard-earned money. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video, and enjoy the shooting footage.